What's going on, everybody? Nick Robbins here, and I am back after a long absence here, and I am so excited to share with you an amazing interview that I was so blessed to be a part of with the one, the only Dean Graziosi. Now, in this interview, we're going to be talking about everything from how to handle being a family man and building your business to how you can get started building a business with absolutely no experience, knowing nothing about, the business world, anything like that, and doing it all online, virtually, no overhead, as well as what him and Tony Robbins have been up to that is completely shaking up the entire online world. So with that being said, guys, I am so excited to introduce and bring in the one, the only Dean Graziosi for this special interview that we have done.
All right, for everybody listening, welcome. I am Luis Noriega. Thank you for tuning in to this very powerful interview with none other than the man himself. He needs no introduction, Dean Graziosi. Dean, thank you for being here, brother.
Good to be here with you, man.
Awesome, Dean. And Nick Robbins here. I'll be interviewing you as well. Dean, super excited to chat with you. And with that being said, let's jump right into the questions. Go ahead, Luis.
Absolutely. So let me start by asking Dean, now that your baby boy Luca is a little over 12 months old, right? Congratulations. My question is, what new lessons have you learned that you recently applied to in your businesses?
First off, man, you know how to get right to my heart. Yeah, my little boy Luca, he's so darn cute. So are you asking how being a dad helped with my business? I love questions that I don't typically get, man. So really great question. And here's the cool part is I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I was a little older when I had them. I was 38 and 40 when I had my older kids, and now I'm 52 and have a 13-month-old. And I'll tell you what it helps. And this, being a parent in general, helps the same when it melts over or runs over into your business. And so I'm going to back up a little bit and tell you what this year, this New Year's theme for my older kids, and it'll be the same for my younger son, Luca, is one of the themes for the year is, who are you when no one's watching? And I think that is such a powerful thing when it comes to business, because in today's business world, we've been in the transactional world for too long, and the world has evolved to relationship businesses, right? Especially in the knowledge industry, the information age, the digital economy, right? You want to do business with someone you have a relationship with, that you know, like, and trust, that you feel they have your back, you feel they care about you. They don't just have a transaction, they're done and next, right? It's like the restaurant where the owner comes over and says, hey, how's your meal? You sure it's good? Can I get you anything? You sure it's the right temperature, compared to just throwing you food and whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. So I'm backing up a little bit. What my kids have made me realize that kids don't do or become who you tell them to become. Your kids become a version of you. So I step up my game as I want to be a better human. I want to be a better example. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father, a better man, a better leader every day, because my children are watching. Even my 13-month-old son, he stares at me every day. My wife does all the work and I get all the attention. It's unbelievable. He loves me to death, and he looks at me with his big saucer eyes, and I know that he will become the man that I am. So I transcended that, and I want you to think about that in any business you're starting. So many times in life when we're starting a business, we say we're doing everything, it's just not working. But are we really? Like, I want to know, and this is the conversation I had with my older kids, like, when no one's watching, are you studying marketing? Are you studying sales? Are you going through the right courses? Are you doing the right things? Or are you binging out on Netflix or surfing online, right? When you say you're working night and day, but you're really going out 3 nights a week, drinking till 2 o'clock in the morning, have a hangover till 12, and you tell your friends, yeah, my business just isn't working. Are you really doing the things that you need to be doing when no one's watching? Because as a parent, and I'll go back and forth, as a parent of my older kids that are 12 and 14, let's just be honest. They could watch porn on their phone, they could drink, they could sneak away, they could take pills, they could do anything. 14 is the new 40. It's insane, right? So what I told my kids is, I'm probably never going to know if you do stuff behind my back, but you'll know. And you'll know when we sit at the dinner table and you look at me in the eye and you're hiding something, you won't feel connected to me, and it'll suck. But it's the same thing that I tell my team and I tell myself is I want to be that guy, Luis or Nick, if you guys meet me on the street and I didn't know who you are and we had a conversation, I want you to walk away and go, hey man, that's the same guy I see on camera. That's the same guy in the course. That's the same guy when him and Tony are on stage. Like, I want that congruency. So I think you asked me a short question, I gave you a long-ass answer, but I really believe that congruency of who we are when no one's watching is the reason, one of the main reasons our businesses succeed, that people feel like you have a relationship with them. They know, like, and trust you. They refer you. They recommend you. They buy more of your products, and they thank you when you're done.
Awesome. Absolutely. I love that. So, Dean, I have a question for you. In regards to the last year, the world has obviously shifted tremendously in regards to how we do business. And I really want to talk about that for a moment. During that time, if I recall correctly, you and Tony have been able to impact more people than ever before over the last year. But can you talk about the transition and, maybe feeling a little scared at first and how you were able to adapt and handle that and really shift the model into this coming the new economy here?
Yeah, think about this. When the world shifts, right? And listen, I've been saying this, but I want to say it to you right now if you're listening. If you're a little uncertain, a little scared, a little unsure where to go, congratulations for being human. Just being in business for yourself or going into business is scary alone at any time in history. Compound COVID and race relations and shifts and such in America especially, such a shift on both sides. It's ugly. It's been a crazy year. So if it's been crazy for you, you're human. But know that this is also the time where we could step up as role models, as leaders, and lean into our full potential. If we want to fix the economy of the world, we fix the economy in our homes and the people around us. If we want to help with race and connections and bonding people, we need to do those things in our home, in our community with the people we love. That's how we fix. Nobody's coming to save us. No one's waving a magic wand. It's all on us. And I think it's so liberating when you decide it's all on us. But with that said, so you're a little scared anyway, rightfully so. The world is shifting. You kind of got to shift. But I believe, Nick, when the world shifts, like you just said, our subconscious, and maybe we're wired this way, kind of makes us say, you know what, let me just see where things are going. I'm uncertain. I'm a little scared. Let's see how it plays out. And I think we're designed to see how things play out when it's absolutely the worst thing you can do. I quote this a lot, so excuse me if you've heard this, but I love the mini book, Who Moved My Cheese, right? And if you really just break it down, two mice, they're getting cheese every day in the same spot. All of a sudden, the cheese stops coming. One mouse is like, hey, this is where I get my cheese. I deserve my cheese. Someone better bring my cheese back, and I'm going to wait here until they do. The other mouse is like, I don't think the cheese is coming. I'm going to go explore. Exploring is scary. That's uncomfortable action. That's uncertain action. That's imperfect action. But it's also courageous action. We must go explore. We must pivot. Though it's extremely uncomfortable, the mouse that just sit there is going to, starve to death. And we have to realize that the world has shifted and it may never go back. Mm-hmm. So that there's like a tactical side and then the upstream side of emotions. The tactical side, you want to be in something that is growing, that is people are shifting into, right? If you want to go into an industry that's being fueled by virtual connection, right? We're socially distanced. What industries are virtually connected? We want that. We want to make sure we're shifting into something growing. We don't want to shift into Blockbuster or shift into the taxi cab business, right? We want to shift to where things are going. I know I'm rambling here because I'm really passionate about this. I heard Wayne Gretzky say the reason he was so good in hockey, he's one of the best hockey players in the world, is he said he used to skate to where he thought the puck was going. He said everybody else would skate to the puck. And I think when you're kind of uncertain and scared and you need to shift, you just want to stare where the puck is. And those that can determine where the puck is going are the ones that get out in front of everybody else. For us, Tony and I, we just decided, hey, everybody's home. We're socially distanced. It's time to virtually connect people in a big way. And we started really obsessing on challenges and giving away more free content than we ever did in our entire lives because people need it. These are unprecedented times, and it's a good time to really deliver that. And our last challenge in January, we put 837,000 people in it. So if you're wondering if the knowledge industry, the digital economy, the online information industry is growing, 837,000 1,000 people attended, and yeah, we're getting ready to do another one. We believe we're going to put 1 million in. So it's definitely a time. It's a time to shine. It's a time to thrive. But you got to get your mindset right, and then you got to get the capabilities from someone who's already been there, and then take that uncomfortable action.
Yeah, and really quick, I want to dive a little bit deeper on that and the current opportunity that we can look for, right? Because I know Tony's talked about this. I've been to a bunch of his events. Whenever there's winter, there's people out there who are capitalizing on the opportunity. And the opportunity, as we're going to be talking about even depth or even more in a moment, is that the knowledge business, right? Because what, $129 billion a year business and opportunities out there. So just talk about that for a little bit right now, because with the news and everything else, it's so negative, right? Do you believe that there's a huge opportunity, a huge shift happening right now?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest wave. I believe it's a revolution. I mean, think about this. So let's just talk about the knowledge industry, the information industry, the self-education industry, the specialized knowledge industry. It's all the same, right? The upskill industry. What does that mean? It means people are deciding not to go back to college or get traditional education at the fastest rate in the history of colleges. People are opting out. They're not getting what they need there. People are also realizing that if they try to figure it out on their own, it's too costly and too time-consuming in a world that's exponentially growing, right? The other day, I just did with my kids the difference between $1 a day for 60 days or a penny doubled, right? That's exponential growth, right? You get to 30 days, your calculator can't even hold the numbers anymore, right? But that's kind of how our world is growing right now, right? So people are going, school is linear, it's going too slow. Learning on my own, by the time I learn it, I'm going to be left behind. So how do I get to the next level quicker? I find someone who's already been through that experience and is willing to sell me a course, a workshop, a mastermind, a weekend training, and allow me to start off where they left off. I always like to think about it, Nick, and Luis, is what would it be worth to you? How old are you, Nick?
I'm 33.
You're 33. Yep. It was only 13 years ago, but let me just ask you real quick, man. How much would it be worth to you, or what would it be worth to you if you could go back and spend a week with your 20-year-old self?
Oof,
what if you could spend 2 hours with your 20-year-old self?
Wow.
And how important would that message be to your 20-year-old self? Like, I could picture grabbing my own 20-year-old's face and go, listen to me, we got 2 hours. Do not say a word. Listen, write this down, right? How valuable would that be? And maybe it would be about your business, Nick. Like, hey, don't wait so long. You have it inside of you. You're an entrepreneur. I know you're scared. I know you feel like an imposter. I know you feel like you didn't have the money to get started, man, but you got resourcefulness. That's all you need. So let's break down resourcefulness and what it means. Let's break down marketing and what it means. About relationships, you're in a great one, man, but you could be in a better one sooner. Here's the 3 things about relationships you have to know. Here's a better, like, whatever it is, you have 2 hours. How valuable would that be, right? Well, you think right now there are millions of people out there in whatever thing it is that you've got a year in, 3 years in, 5 years in. If anything that you're a chapter 2 or 10 chapters ahead, there's somebody starting on day 1. You've been in sales for 2 years. There's somebody starting on day 1 in sales. They could take 2 years to figure it out, or you could drop in and help them shorten the curve, right? Tony says, you know Tony, and you know his metaphors is condense decades into days, or a year into days, right? What took me 10 years to figure out, I could put in a weekend course that could change someone's life. They get to start off on third base. But what's different now, it's not just the Tony Robbins or me or the people that you see that were the originators. The world is learning from everyday, ordinary people at a record pace. Forbes says it'll be $1 billion a day industry by 2025. Because if someone's going through a mess, you know, they're going through a messy divorce. In today's world, they're searching online, looking for somebody who went through a messy divorce, but figured it out, fixed it, found a relationship with their ex, and their kids are thriving. I want to learn from that person. I want to learn to eat vegan. I want to learn to sell better, market better, cut hair better. People aren't looking to school, art class, anything. They're looking for courses and online trainings from home from everyday people. They're choosing not to go to the teacher and rather go to the person who experienced it and came out on the other side. And that just means, all of that means, I promise you, if you're watching this or listening right now, you have a skill, a hobby, a passion, an expertise, or a mess that you went through and you're on the other side and your mess became your message. And there are people out there right this very minute that want and need it. And the way Tony and I feel is you should be obligated to extract that knowledge, share it, impact their lives, and create success for yourself.
Absolutely. And on that note, when there's a situation where there's a business partner, right? So I remember the story where Tony talks about like, you were telling him like, hey, think about going virtual, go virtual. He's like, no, hell no. Like I want to have I want to figure out a way to still hold the UPW in San Jose or all these different events, right? So how did that conversation go
Yeah, that's
specifically, if
funny.
there was one, or how did you convince him to say, dude, like,
Oh, that's so funny.
let's,
I'm glad you picked up on that. But I mean, he was mad, not mad at me. We're partners and best friends. We talk every single day. And we were talking for about a month. And I'm like, brother, you got to go virtual. He's like, I can't.
yeah,
Luis, I don't know. Have you been to a live Tony event?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so is Nick. You guys know what that's like when Tony stands a foot away from somebody, does an intervention, and just changes the life of not only that person, but everybody in the room, right? And there's nobody better in the world than Tony at doing that. Nobody. It's absolutely magical to watch. And Tony knows that interaction. He just felt he couldn't do it virtually. And he had a belief around that. I had a belief that he could. He absolutely could. And we had two separating beliefs. This is the man who breaks beliefs better than anyone in the world.
That's so
and he had a
crazy.
belief that he couldn't do it. And because he trusts me, because I'm a friend, and I just kept nudging and kept nudging, I'm like, brother, people need you now more than ever. And we might not be able to do this for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. They need you now. So what did we do? We got innovative, got creative. We built a studio where he could look at thousands of people at once, look into the camera and be in their heart, be in their soul. And the first UPW that when he finally, and here's the cool part, once he flipped the belief, and this is something we all should take note on, the master of changing beliefs, when he finally went from this belief to I can, I will, I must, when it flipped, there was no looking back. He did what he says. He burned the boats. There was no dabbling, completely committed. And then it was just a complete innovation on how do we get in these people's homes? How do we do it better than just a typical Zoom call or a typical webinar? And we pulled it off. He got to speak to thousands of people. The first UPW was over 20,000 people, the biggest UPW, Unleash the Power Within, in the history of the world. And the truth is, in the comments, people said it was the greatest event of their life, better than in person, and because they got to do it from their home. They didn't travel, and they got to have their loved ones with them. If you guys, Luis or Nick, you've been to a Tony event, you get all fired up, you go home, people think you're nuts. You're like in a different state, you're crazy, and you got to try to sell everyone around you. Now you just bring them over to your house, and Tony does it. So it ended up not being better in one area, but it was just as good alongside of it, the experience, better in certain areas of it. And it was just magical. And the last one we did was over 30,000 people. So, change it. Tony's he told me about it 25 years ago. Change your story, change your life.
And that's important to know because, again, maybe there is a situation where a business partner is all bought in, but there's another business partner who has a belief and doesn't realize the full potential, as Nick has mentioned, and obviously as you've mentioned, Dean. So thank you for definitely clarifying that. But go ahead. Yeah, Nick.
So speaking of beliefs, Dean, my audience, the people who watch what I talk about all the time ask me about this. And this is, what do you say to people who are nervous to get started, nervous to put themselves out there, nervous that, people won't want to listen to their information or they don't have a certain type of skill set that people will buy into?
Yeah, I totally get it. So I'm going to tell you a little story, Nick. In 1995, I bought Tony Robbins' course off an infomercial. I had already started, I was doing really well with cars. I used to flip used cars. And I had apartments, and I had a tow truck company, and I was on my way doing good financially from starting with nothing and no college degree and living in a trailer park. Like I was on my way, but I was kind of doing it in a hosed up way. I'll be honest with you. I was stressed. I was nervous all the time. I was actually just running away from pain and probably not enjoying any of it, right? Having fun on the weekends and stuff like that. But anyway, I watched Tony infomercial, buy his product. It fundamentally shifts my life. Like, puts me on a different track, changed my beliefs, changed my story. Like every word he said just impacted me. I'm sure both of you have had that experience with Tony. So many of us have, right? It shifts my life. He gets me so fired up. I'm like, hey, I'm 26 years old, 27, 28. I'm almost a millionaire. I am a millionaire from starting with nothing. I want to help. I want to do what Tony did. Tony gave me information. I paid for it. He changed my life. I want to sell information. I mean, once you do it, there's no greater thing in the history of the world. You allow people to go faster, you help people in their lives, and you get rewarded for it. I mean, I can't think of anything better. I was completely hooked. So now, back then, there was no online, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, not even MySpace. I mean, it was like AOL dial-up with Messenger. And if you wanted to watch a video, it had to download for 45 minutes, right? I mean, that's really where the world was. So the only way I could get out there is the way Tony got to me was an infomercial. So I had to spend $200,000 to even know if it would work. I ended up getting like 6 credit cards at once, Nick and Luis. Like I applied for them all at the same time so the banks wouldn't see all the credit checks happening. And I got like 6 of them approved. I cash advanced on all of them and used that to spend a couple $100,000 to produce an infomercial on a course called Motor Millions, teaching people how to make money with cars. It seems like the dumbest freaking thing in the world, right? So right before I launch it, I start freaking out. Just what you're talking about, Nick. I'm like, because I was all fired up from Tony's stuff, and now I'm like, Imposter Syndrome 101. I'm like, oh man, I'm not that smart. I'm not freaking Tony Robbins. I have a squeaky voice. I got a New York accent. I look 12 years old on camera. This is, 30 years ago, 20-something years ago. And I just start freaking myself out. And I'm like, I don't make millions a month. I don't have new car dealerships. What the hell am I doing? And I allowed myself to get sucked into that. You didn't go good in school. You don't have a vast vocabulary. You can't spell good. You're from a little town. Everything possible. So I get it. I've been there. I still have that imposter living inside me. I just beat him up a little bit, right? But what changed it, and this is why I'm so glad Tony and I are doing a 5-day free challenge on this that everybody needs to be a part of, because this is what we're doing. We're pulling back the curtain to show you, yes, you're qualified. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you have the capabilities. You have an asset in here that needs to be unlocked. And yes, we can show you how to have the confidence to deliver it. And one of the ways I got confidence, Nick, is I started thinking, and then as I'm thinking I don't have the confidence to do this, it helped a lot that my parents and family sat me down like an intervention, like I was doing drugs, and saying, enough is enough, Dean. You've gone off the reservation. You borrowed all this money. You're going to lose it all. Let's get real. You're great at cars and real estate, but you think you're going to be a TV guy like Tony? Come on. So I was already thinking that. And then my family, who loved me, told me. Anyway, but I'll tell you what saved me. And I hope this little bit helps you. And in a moment here, I want to tell you how to make sure you join the challenge with Tony and I and some of our dear friends. We're going to do this over 5 days. 2-3 hours a day, going deep on this for free. It's one of those opportunities that won't come around again. It's here because of the circumstance, because of COVID. And once the world opens up, it won't happen again. But what did it for me, Nick and Luis, is I started thinking, wait a minute, I don't know how to run new car dealerships and do $1 million a month. I don't know how to run SOPs and KPIs for 40 employees and getting new cars and warranties and customers. I don't know how to do that either. And I kept saying, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. But what I got good at, Nick, was I found a system to run ads in the classified, yes, the classified ads, paper, physical newspaper, saying, if you're going to trade your car in and they offered you like next to nothing, call me before you lose money. And I would get all these people that go to trade. Do you ever trade in a car and what they offer you, like, damn, that's too low, right? I had all these people call me and I'd put them on a list. And then I'd run ads and I'd find buyers and I'd match buyers and sellers and I'd make money in the middle, right? So what I said, I used to flip a car or two a month that way to make an extra $2 to $3 grand a month. When I said, wait a minute, I don't know how to do millions. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that, but I know how to do better than anyone. I know how to find and flip a car or two a month and make an extra couple grand. So that's all I did. I didn't go on and say, I'm magical, I'm perfect, I'm a gazillionaire. I'm like, hey, I found a little system using the classified ads to flip a car or two a month and make an extra $2 to $3 grand. You're not going to be a millionaire overnight, but if that's something that excites you, I'd like to share my course, Motor Millions. That was the name of it. And it went on to be my first information product, and it built my confidence because I realized I didn't have to show them that I was good at spelling, because I'm not. I'm not good at KPIs. I'm not good at Excel spreadsheets. But hustling a couple cars a month, I was the best in the planet. And that little niche was the kickoff to me being in this industry and start 13 companies and be partners with Tony and be a multiple New York Times best-selling author and hundreds of millions of views and all this crazy stuff. All started because I got over that imposter syndrome by identifying the one thing I was good at and sharing it with others.
I love that. I've always said self-education has literally been the most life-changing thing that I've ever done, I've ever spent money in. I too bought Awaken the Giant Within about a decade ago, and it saved me from drugs, alcohol, a horrible past, and it literally changed my life forever. And when you can be in a situation where you know that you can help other people, you have something inside that you can help people with. So you just brought up the challenge. So let's talk about that. Tell us a little bit about what you guys got going on this year. I know every time it's getting bigger and bigger. You just mentioned 830,000 people earlier this year. Let's talk about the challenge you guys have coming up.
Yeah, so we did. So Tony wanted to do a challenge in January for people's mindset. It's a new world. He wanted them to have a new mindset, ready to handle winter, ready to handle shifts. And again, in my opinion, nobody better in the world than Tony at that. So he did 5 days about your health, your finance, not your finances, your mindset for abundance in a shifting world, and did amazing. 837,000 people registered. It was off the charts. It was ridiculous. He changed the world. It was magical. That was about your mindset and your psychology. We said we wanted to help people with their economics and create their own economy. So we're doing another challenge May 11th through the 15th, write it down right now. It's called Own Your Future, the Own Your Future Challenge, because what Tony and I thought about in a shifting world, in winter, when things are different, if you don't own your future, someone else is gonna. And that doesn't settle well with me. I don't want somebody to own my decisions, own the time I could spend with my kids, or spend with my wife, or what I do, or how I dress, or any of that. So we decided to put together the Own Your Future Challenge in over 5 days. And you got to go, there's a link, ownit43.com, ownit43.com. When you go there, wait till you see the guests we have coming along with us. There's 13 of them. I mean, the truth is, I have some good influence, but when it's Tony and Dean together, everybody says yes. They all jumped in to contribute for free. They're all here. It's, again, 5 days, about 2.5 hours a day. And over those 5 days, we're going to show you how to shift your thoughts about this, but then show you why this industry, what help you unlock. This is real teaching, like bring a journal. We're gonna show you how to unlock that thing you should be selling. Then show you how to, who you could sell it to, and then how to elegantly sell through service, not cheesy salesmanship, right? And then we're gonna show you how to teach it with confidence through a story teach tool model, then show you how to find your ideal client, and then day 5, I'll show you how to bring it all together and make it real. This is unbelievable. This is one of those rare, like everybody says, this is once in a lifetime, but this really is once in a lifetime. 837,000 people last time. We're shooting for 1 million. We want to lock arms, and the way Tony and I look at it is why, if you're going to go for it, go big. If we're going to help the global economy, we start by individual people and help individuals get their economy crushing, right? And here's 3 things I do. So it's ownit43.com. Write that down. As soon as we're done, go to the page and literally check out what Tony and I are doing and the speakers and reserve your spot. And put it in your calendar, write it on your hand, put it on your refrigerator. Do not miss this because there's no replay. It's live, right? Secondly, take that link, ownit43.com, and text it to all of your friends. They'll be mad if they miss this, and it isn't going to happen again. I promise you, this event is not happening again. And plus, it's cool to have accountability partners. Like when you go to the gym with buddies or a friend, don't you work out harder? Have them do this 5 days with you so you can go have coffee or virtually talk about it afterwards. So first is register, set the date, send it to a friend. And then the last thing I'd say, and I've been saying this a lot, is pretend that you paid $10,000 for this. Because in any other time in history, to learn from Tony, myself, and the speakers that are coming, you would spend 10 grand. Because a lot of times in life, when you don't spend money and you don't pay attention. It's like, oh, it's that free challenge. Maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. No, this is beyond that. Pretend you spend $10,000, put it in your journal, put it in your phone, and we'll see you May 11th.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, Dean, thank you very much, Dean. And again, everybody tune in. Thank you for tuning into this very powerful interview. I'll leave it up with Nick, and thank you once again, Dean.
Dean, it's been an honor. I can't wait for the challenge. Everybody sign up, ownit43.com. It'll be below this video. It'll be everywhere on here. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us here today, Dean, and let's go out there and let's smash, man.
You guys are awesome. And remember, last thing I'll say is honest and truly, not just, it's not just flowing out of my mouth. I mean it. How do we fix a crazy world is we step up our own game. We become role models for our family, our friends, and the people of our community. If we step up, we get the whole world to step up. I'll see you at the Own Your Future Challenge. See you guys.
I love you, dude. Thanks. Take care.
Take care.